Today, we're just going to focus on how to monetize the data. So we're getting a lot of final pieces done with the white label section, where you can create your own Shopify-like data store. Avocadata is a giant data sharing platform. Data to Leads was our first company where we put this together to sell business leads, homeowner leads, age solar leads, age insurance leads. This was our core of what we did forever. And as time went on, we found a lot of people would end up buying the same data over and over and over again, because managing a lot of data, 50 million records, 500 million records, is a difficult task to do. So anything that is purchased on Avocadata through a $4.99 plan, you are able to resell it, and you are able to get paid directly by users of yours for the data that you have purchased from us or somebody else on the platform. When you flip this admin switch, it'll bring you into this back end right here. And you have a marketplace where you can see what you've purchased, and you can also create different products to sell as a result. You have three different pieces right here: custom lists, data store, and payable link. First thing I want to do is how to actually assign a database, because if you don't want to sell a whole database to somebody, you can sell them specific parts to the database and sell them access to different parts of the database. First off, you are able to make plans that people can pay you for. We have a lot of plans. We can flip them on and off. And when you flip them on, they end up on the pricing page. That would be yours. Any plans that you want to make, you're able to control what the user can download. So this is our free plan, where we don't have a free trial. We actually have a free plan that's never going to charge you. And the reason we do that, we want to see what you want to download. So if you're a white label user reselling this data, you can do the same exact thing. And we encourage you never to really do free trials, because it just creates problems. People feel sketched. They don't want to get billed. But other than that, this gives you access to see what they're doing. So we assign every single type of database, for the most part, intent to the free users, because we want to know what they're looking for. Are they looking for age solar leads? I'm going to actually add a few more, because we added quite a few more categories. And this is how simple it is. Maybe you start bringing on contractors and you see them browsing through the HVAC database. That would be a good time for you to reach out to them and say, hey, maybe we could do an onboarding. I can show you the best way to find any of those topics. Or maybe you do health, and you're going to reach out to people looking for weightlifting gear. So all of this stuff you can control and you can sell, and you can control how many products, contacts they get a month. And one contact is equal to one credit, and one credit is one row of data. And a row of data is defined by what database it actually is. So there's a lot of ifs and buts, but that's the cool thing about this system, because if someone that isn't Avocadata or Data to Leads, for instance, aged MCA leads, I've been getting we rank #1 on Google for aged MCA leads. So we're going to start trying to find vendors that we can onboard, give them free accounts, because maybe you are a fantastic aged MCA vendor. You would be able to actually create data bricks and databases that would then allow users to buy and resell your data if you allow them to. All these databases were uploaded by different companies that we work with. Obviously, Data to Leads is us. We never really worked with crypto, so we found some outsiders to add some crypto data. And you guys on the $4.99 plan have unlimited ability to build as many of these databases as you want. So like I was saying, aged MCA lead, maybe you happen to have a great list of 1 million that are just sitting on the side, and you want to sell them for 25 cents each. Within this software, we'll say age form fills 30 days. Now, if you have a spreadsheet of data and MCA age leads, you can create the database. This looks kind of complicated, and that's only pay attention to this right now, column name. And I'll highlight it in yellow, make our lives less complicated. What do you see on your spreadsheet? First name. What else do you see on your spreadsheet? Probably last name. I would hope you have a phone number, and maybe you actually have the spreadsheet broken down by mobile phone. You would just have to copy whatever it is that is in your table, add it here. You can click save when it's done. And after you have done that, you can go and upload the spreadsheet to your new database. So let's say this is your database. You would be able just to quickly upload the data. The columns have to match, and if they don't match, this is the handy dandy error you're going to get. I'll hit convert table. and then it's going to tell me I'm totally screwed up. My columns that are missing would be missing from the spreadsheet because the spreadsheet does not have the columns. Extra columns would be the columns on the spreadsheet. That shouldn't be that. Is the data store. So there's multiple domains to connect to. So the first one is the general white label. So the general white label is this page right here. You have the ability to get this page turned online if you were to go to website customization, and nice little simple steps that you can go through. So get your domain on to your DNS, enter in your merchant information. This you no longer need to do. You can select your colors, you can add in your company information, and I don't feel like re-uploading my image, so I'm going to skip over to homepage customization. We have found an abundance of calendars is the best way to sell this system because it's complicated. And we personally want to make sure that people who pay us, we speak with beforehand to know so they know what they're getting into, because this is complicated. So we have our little book a calendar button right here, and everyone's encouraged to add one of those to their help link because it is a very quick revenue source. People are, as soon as you show your face to somebody, they're much more comfortable. And this link right here is for the YouTube video, which everyone would need to do if you're going to do the white label, because people like videos and it helps people convert a little bit easier given the complexities of data. Now, all of this stuff you see here is the website content right here. If I did not have the special, CSS, HTML here, it wouldn't look like that. So I'll just go click save and show you. So this is what it looks like without doing any styling. And given we live in the AI age, we can just use Gemini to screenshot, tell it looks ugly, and ask it to rewrite it a little bit cleaner so it fits better. It doesn't take too long, and you obviously can perfect it as much as you want. So same thing here, did a little bit of fancy stuff to get the website on. Now, there's another option of how you can do it as well. You would be able to build custom website pages over here. And if you didn't want to use the home page we have, you can forward the page to one of these custom website pages. So these custom website pages are great because again, AI, you can just go ask the AI to redo a website for you and change up the pages however you want. And again, we just end up linking these buttons directly to pricing pages, for instance, and whatnot. But you have full customization that you can do over it. This white label portion is only going to get you into the dashboard. I don't know my password for that one, so I'm going to go back to this. And your dashboard will be custom colors, will be your name. It won't include us at all. It'll be your little logo you want to use there. We don't exist at this point. That provides you the ability to actually sell these products directly. To make the products, we obviously saw the one agency customer plan we did. We have been actively putting out more ways that you can customize your user experiences. Right over here, we have 3 selections under the marketplace. We have custom lists, data store, and payable links. Custom lists was the first. And if someone is on one of your agency database plans, you can pre-build any of your lists for them. So now they don't have to do all the filtering. One example I would look at is oftentimes come in and they ask for very specific types of businesses. You would either have to help them find the businesses by NAICS code, company industry, or even company name. There's a lot of different ways. And if your client who is logged into your system isn't entirely sure of, or comfortable, I should say, doing all of this type of stuff, then it would be beneficial for you or someone on your team to come in and pre-build it for them. Christmas tree companies, that's what I'll pick. So someone comes in, they're like, listen, I do a great job giving loans to companies that sell Christmas trees for the season. If that's the case, that's very unique. That is very, very, very difficult for the average person to start coming up with. What I would personally do is I would build this list for them. First thing, I would make seniority level CXL, because I don't know why you want to contact, a staff level at a Christmas tree company if you're trying to give them loans. The other thing that you could get into is looking at the company name personally. That's what I would look at. And I'm going to just type in Christmas tree or Christmas first, just to see what is the balance of things that we get in total. Because there's going to be multiple ways to search this. So first one, I did Christmas as the company name. Create list. Oh, let me rename it as Christmas company name, CXL. What I would end up doing is going back into the actual database we made that list for. So I did it under business professionals. So I'm going to go look at my business professional database. It might take a second to load, but my Christmas is right here. And these are all owners, investors, people who make the decisions. Now, if you're on a Mac or a PC, I'm on a Mac, so I hit Command F. And when I hit Command F, I'm going to look for company name because I don't want to scroll. This is just a nightmare. There's 100 columns. Command F is your best friend, or Control F if you're on a PC. And I'm going to try to get an idea of what did I get as my results. Don't mess with Christmas. That doesn't make sense. Emerald Christmas Tree Co. A&W Christmas Tree Farm. Okay, that's ratio. We just, out of the first three, two of them are a hit. Christmas in Enland, I don't know what that is. Christmas Market, no. My Christmas Incorporated, that doesn't tell me enough. Christmas Law Firm, he must be a fun at parties. Christmas-like guy. So I'm actually going to, before I make another list, I'm going to go look up Tree Farm because that is the company name that I didn't think of at first. So if I type in Tree Farm, what do we get? We get 444 with the word Tree Farm. And we have The Tree Farm, Duddle's Tree Farms, Bent Tree Farms, Holiday Tree Farms, so on and so forth. So I'm going to, just because I'm not going to put much thought into it, I mean, and that's kind of the idea, is if you can just get a little bit of a wide variety of these random industries. And I'm going to go back to add a custom list, type in Tree Farm, and I'm also going to throw in the CXO as well in the seniority level. And after that, left for 242. Everything you just did here can be used in the most extreme circumstances to help assist the paying client get what it is they need with as little cost of delivery on your side. Because at the end of the day, you have to make a profit with your time. And if someone's paying you $129, you can't spend an hour on the phone with them or 2 hours on the phone with them technically. This is a low-cost way to be able to sell data in a, again, cheaper way to an audience that might not want to spend $500. They might want to pay you $100 for this, which is a damn good price. That's 40 cents each. That's more than I would sell it for. If this is the list your client wants, they can just go hit buy, save list, type in the quantity, 242, Christmas trees, so on and so forth. They just sent themselves the list, you got paid, and they have credits maybe left. Now, the second way you can sell the data is through the data store. And this is the new feature that is slowly coming out for the front end. And the data store is your ability to create data products that can be sold in a e-commerce type of system. I'm going to just pull up a video real quick just to give you UI of what it is this will do correctly. That data store is going to allow you to create a website where users can actually search the products that you build and find them within a nice little inventory. Every single custom list you build for one customer, you will end up saving forever and ever into a website page that has the ability to generate revenue continuously, because these pages are going to be indexed on Google. So if someone looks up a specific list you save, we're really good at SEO. We're going to get your stuff ranking pretty quickly within the back end of the system. And as a result, people will be able to land on a page. They see it's $49 and they can check out on their $49 and pay you directly. So maybe you had a specific type of data feed of people viewing live content. I don't know. Point is, everyone's looking for something. Good data is like a tag sale, a garage sale, whatever it is you want to call it. And someone's always going to ask you for something that you might not have, but you can quickly use your brain, think of some data or audience engineering, and do some of the filters like we showed before to create these products so people can pay directly, you, that is, to try to save you some time on delivery. And that's what all of this is how can you offer the data a little bit cheaper, not decrease your margin because you have increased the efficiency of how it's being delivered to the actual user. So all of those products and rows that you saw right here, that's what this is. So when you click on data store, you are able to, this is going to be changed to create data product. There's one data store with many data products, but you can create the categories of how you want your data to be. I'm going to create a category. I'm going to call it leads for U65. And that's the keyword, especially if you're selling leads. You have to keep it in reality for them that it's data that you're going to, that it's not easy. That you're going to have to put the work into it. So now that I created that category, what subcategories do I have? None currently. So I'm going to end up doing another subcategory, 365, under the main category, business professionals. And obviously we can change this up later if we want to. So when you make a category, you can assign the subcategories to that category. So you see how these categories change upon. You have really unlimited amounts of customization and how you want to do this. So maybe I'm actually going to make this category age leads. That might be a good idea. And then we can make a subcategory age leads insurance. Do the same thing. Age leads, if you come in, you have merchant cash advance age leads, we'll upload them, we'll sell them. And let's say you have your categories together. So we can go and say this is 250 aged MCA leads. And if it's from November 2025, we can list that just like that. And we made our category, we made our subcategory. Now this is where you have to do some math. You have to, if your database is of, let's say, 1,000 leads, you need to make that equal to the credits. Right now it's not automatically synced up, it's a manual thing, but not complicated. You can add a description, form, bills in November. And you would have had to, in advance, upload the table of those leads that we looked at. So we jokingly made a aged MCA leads, which doesn't have any data. But if it had data, you would be able to filter, get the amount just like before. And when you click create data store, people are now able to pay you directly for this pre-built set of data. And you would be able to edit it right on the right-hand side. You can assign it to different users in the entire system that you want to be able to access it. And after all said and done, your user wouldn't see anything in custom database. Your user wouldn't see anything in lead search. Your user would have to go to data stores, which is not going to load right now because it's not finalized. And they would be able to download the whole list all in one shot and not have to do any of the filtering like they did on this side. Then lastly, if you want to sell a whole database to somebody without them having to buy credits, within this payable links tab, let's say someone comes in and they tell, I want to pay you $1,000 for the whole database you have of B2C data in Georgia. Actually, I'll pick one of these that are smaller. So we'll pick we'll say car repair intent. We have a whole database of car repair intent people. If you want to sell them this whole database for $500, maybe you just put together that database 500, they get access to everything. It's not limited. So if you have a small list or a big list, whatever the difference is that you want to upload, you would be able to do that and then sell it directly as a link to somebody that they can pay you for. And when they pay you for it, it instantly would unlock under custom databases. And if you have these technical skills to sell this data, you can find people who don't know how to sell their data, recruit them, and then become an outlet for them because you're the technical one that actually understands now all this back end of a system to be able to facilitate the data monetization as a business. I'll pause for a sec. Any questions I can tackle right now in this moment? Okay, so what I'm going to jump into real quick is just what we got going on right now. So right now we have pretty big discounts in all of our plans, between 30 and 50% off. So if you wanted to get 120,000 leads, you'd be able to save $600 today. If you wanted to get 360,000 leads, you'd be able to save just about $1,000 today. Within the white label, we're doing buy 2 months, get one free. So you get 3 months of having your white label data store with 750,000 records for $1,000 for the first 2 months. And this is going to expire today, most likely. I need to figure out what's going on there. And we also, I'm not going to get into data goods right now. We do have data goods that we did a lot of big improvements on. That's the weather tracking for the lead generation and the skip tracing. We're selling this right now on sale for $3,000 for the year with a million leads. You have multiple ways to generate leads. So you can either go on a map, draw some polygons, and actually enrich the data to the contact information within that particular segment. Right after you do this, you'll be able to load it into a funnel and enrich the data directly to get the phone numbers and move it into your Avocadata account as a brick. Now, this software is not currently a white label. However, you can create high intent data for your users by building a brick in advance. Right now, so while we were discussing, we were getting these leads zoomed in over here that were getting us the information of these people. So if that's the selection you want, you can go off. You can select that this is the data you want, proceed the funnel, and it will end up transferring these leads into your lead generation management dashboard within this section. And from here, you can enrich it and you can transfer it into Avocadata, which I don't have my API connected, but you would be able to click into one of these. And if there was an image taken, you would see that. If there's for instance, an overhead view of the property, which we're going to have very shortly, so you can calculate the roof size, it'll have that. Again, you'd be able to move it into your Avocadata account so your users can download it. We do have it done for you now for your white label, where we'll set up 10 videos for you on YouTube. It's $5,000. And we will build up the entire marketplace for you. So then you don't have to do anything. Pay us the $5,000 and we will have it done for you. And you just have to start selling, and we will train you on what you need to know, what questions you have, and make sure that you're all taken care of and don't have any delay with getting sales from the data.
Brian, I had a question. I hope I didn't jump the line.
No. What's up?
Yeah, this is Levelberg. I'm a real estate investor. I'm building a supply business, but primarily I was looking at leads because we have different CRMs, but I was hoping to get leads from sales, obviously, for our own real estate deals, but also to resell to real estate investors, primarily like tax delinquent, probate, pre-probate, something that's kind of like niche. And I think you covered this probably a couple months ago, but I just can't remember if that data is available for different markets.
So yes, so you would be looking for the investor people or the people possibly trying to sell their property fast?
Both. We look for the people trying to sell their property to be able to sell it to the investor people. And also, I have a pretty big list because I'm a real estate investor, like I'm the customer as well. But yeah, if we could get both, if we could get investors to market to, and also the actual people that want to sell, but primarily like tax delinquent, pre-probate, probate, very specific niches, code enforcement, things like that that show some kind of distress.
Yeah, definitely. So finding the investors would be easy. That's the easy part. Because most people want them to know they're an investor on LinkedIn, so they, make it pretty well known in their LinkedIn profile. So that's an easy one there. Now, you said a lot of good things. That is primary source data, which is tax delinquency, stuff that's all in the county records. The way you described is definitely the best way to do it. That data we don't have, but we do it a la carte because it's county by county, and some counties are big, some counties are small. And it basically costs the same amount of time and effort and money for us to do a rural county in Wyoming versus, a suburb in Atlanta, if you know what I mean. So the way you described is definitely the best way of finding the people, because they're delinquent. They have an intent to get cash, and the only way to get cash is to sell. That would definitely be your best shot. So if you want to talk privately, we can try to figure out some sort of process to go county by county where you want to start. Because I've done that before. It works. It works. It's the same thing with UCC filings. It definitely works. It's just strategically you have to figure out where the profit is, not where the profit is, but where to best spend the time at first and efforts.
Got it. Yeah, what I'll do my work then and narrow down the zip codes, and with certain populations, we usually do 150,000 150,000 minimum population, so I can narrow down a list and then get back with you on that. I appreciate that.
Okay, definitely.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And I saw something about Latin America. We do not have that currently. Kush, if you want to book a time with Luciana, it's the custom thing we can do, and it's not really expensive. It's just most people don't ask for it, so we don't stock it. But we can definitely get any country, all the business owners, all the homeowners, a la carte. And to Charles's question about if you sell the data, is it gone? If it's age leads, yes, there's a time delay on it. But if it's data, it's open game. It's open season. It's the same thing as Yellow Pages, where anyone would have these phone numbers. But that's where the customization comes in, because everyone has access to phone numbers. Doesn't mean everyone effectively contacts them in any way, shape, or form. So that's basically why we came up with a lot of these different tools. So that way now there's a little bit logic into why you're contacting people to narrow down the area. This program is included with the $4.99 plan. So I know some of you are on the $4.99 plan now. I have to start training you on how to use this, because it is included in your plan on top of the white label. So I see the question about intent data. We are slowly trying to move away from the Shade 256 type of data. It works, but you have to have a lot of knowledge in marketing, emailing, and doing the full attack on this. And we've had a lot of success with it. But a roofer isn't going to set up his email marketing. He's not going to set up his paid ads to target, the person, and he's not going to, it's a lot. So what we really are moving into, quote unquote, intent is something like this, because, well, if we know for a fact that Louisiana had 10-degree weather, there's probably quite a bit of places where pipes burst. And if that was the case, we would be able to contact insurance adjusters, plumbers. And now there's, sort of a little bit of a higher intent, because we know that we're looking at the news, we're seeing that there was a deep freeze in this specific population, for instance. And, now we're aware that there is probably damage, and insurance valuation, price per square foot, you'd be able to figure out a damage percentage and price. So the intent would be there, for instance, for insurance adjusters. So we're changing up how we're doing intent to a degree, just because this gets better results, honestly, than shooting in the dark with all the Shade 256s. Because if you land on it, you can be on Angie's list, be looking for a roofer, but you end up in a plumbing Shade 256 because there was a link within the roofing website that went to a plumbing page. It's technical to that degree, which I don't actually think does enough justice for the contractors. It works really good still for insurance agents and a lot of B2B services. If you're doing, just doing texting or just doing emailing and not doing the whole shebang, but anything in the consumer market, urgency sells, right? And if hey, you got hammered, you had 4-inch hail, you'd be able to recognize, like, okay, this is someone I should contact. So all these images of all severe events are saved in advance. So if you ever want to go back in time, you can get the addresses. So I just went back to this storm, went over the addresses. I just found another 6,780 people, and I can go click my generate leads button from here. I can select the number of leads I want from that pool, and I can select based on the filters where I want the leads to come from. Do I want to just take certain postal codes where I drew a polygon? And that's what I mean by intent, where if I really think that if the marketers, and if we provide tools for marketers to get a better understanding of what is in the data, then less phone calls have to be made, less texts have to be sent, less emails have to be sent. I'm reading your emails quickly. Okay. This is a very interesting insurance adjuster. They're mostly going after flooding. What's like the main service or repair that the adjusters are going for? Because that would work. I mean, especially if they're in a storm, don't worry about, oh yeah, I mean, hail damage. What I would do personally is, if you can, after drawing a little polygon of this damage, Google ads is, I don't use Facebook ads at all. I refuse to use Facebook. I hate Facebook. It doesn't work in my opinion. But you can just upload that list of those 10,000 people. Google, you'll always get 100% match with our data. It's perfect. And I don't mean to say it, but it literally is perfect. 100% match. And then just show retargeting ads to those people. So now on top of your emailing and texting, they're seeing your ads, and come up with brand recognition. We did a freaking avocado. I have a friend that does a squirrel for roofing, and the squirrel works pretty well. But the whole point is, now when they see your text, they're also seeing ads. You appear immediately more legitimate because you have ads. You're not just, it really matters. And if your client or yourself has the budget and the capacity, mental capacity to execute like this is the right way of doing it. And there are shortcuts, but the shortcuts definitely require a lot of work and a lot of trial and error. But I mean, we don't spend that much on ads. We spend $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and this is all just retargeting. And I'm sure you guys get hammered like crazy. But the reason why these retargeting ads are great is because if I forget to send an email, or if I don't feel like writing an email for 2 days because I'm busy, well, I'm not spending too much money to make sure that my message gets across to all of you. But yeah, full circle, this part is the difficult part, right? This took me years to master, but it is important to consider, especially if you're spending the money on emailing. Because if someone opens 1 or 2 or 3 emails, they click on the link, now you have a really inexpensive way to show them an ad once a day. The way I set my ads up is branding. I don't go for sales. I don't go for lead generation, because that's just ways for Google to charge you more money. And with the branding, especially if you're coupling it with the emailing, it's just providing a lot of reinforcement. So when a hailstorm does happen again in the future, you're top of mind as well. And even to that point, if you type in roofing services, it's going to bring you everything. So try to figure out something you can rank for. Avocado data, especially within the ads. If you're able to figure out some type of roofing term that isn't entirely roofing, you're going to have more people look you up organically, especially when you do the retargeting continuously. Any other questions before we wrap this up? Kush, if you want to drop the calendar one last time.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, everybody. That was awesome. We had some good questions, good participation. Oh, what about annuities? Somebody said.
Annuities. The only way I can possibly think of annuities would be really outside the box. Price per square foot of a home you own times the amount of square feet your home is. Because that at least gives you some idea of net worth. But annuities are definitely complicated. I don't entirely know of a straightforward way for that. And Charles, let me drop that link for you real quick. Hakeem, do you have any ideas on annuity? Just like different outside the box for financial reference points? Because that's really what we need for the annuities is more real financial reference points. The only thing I can think of is square footage to an owner of a home.
No, there could be a few other things we can discuss. I think also like creating our own signal, I think, some landing pages and form submits and da. And I think, you wind up getting your own stuff. I think that's the best way to go and leverage every platform that we can. Well, that's relevant. So LinkedIn, Facebook, and Google. That's what I would do. I would do and literally type form submit and and then I would take our data and I would look at just like you said, like, homeowners and people, certain age range, obviously certain financial metrics, right? So maybe, something in the approximate net worth category combined with the credit rating category.
No, I would create a mascot and target all the women that are married with money. Because especially with the logos, the brand recognition works a lot more with women, I think. And
yeah, well, that's what I think. I mean, I think it's something like that, and I think you'll find your audience it's going to take a little bit of testing, like it always does, but you'll find your audience. You'll find
it's a hard market, but make sure you make a logo that isn't like mascot, because most annuity companies don't do that, and that's probably the first thing that can help. And all right, so let's wrap this up. The links are in the chat, and I wanted to point out, Hakeem, if you look at the chat, Zach Tanner VA, that's smart. If we can figure out a way to drop the VA leaves notes to go like in the chat to go join their website. So
interesting
marketing idea. Yeah,
right.
Very interesting. All right, guys, I appreciate it, and book a time, and we'll be able to help you with anything. Okay.